Nice.
Broke it.
Go.
Nice.
Instant.
3 left. All at the house.
All at the house.
On radar, so we can cold blood these guys or whatever.
Broke
kill
him.
streak next to you, Fuglet, as well.
I broke bottom
Yeah.
left window.
Hit armor on the left house. I'm rearmoring here.
It's just the play.
Airstrike on me. I'm backing off.
Oh, please don't hit me.
Oh, good.
Oh, they destroyed my turret.
Down one at the back right. There's one more at the back right.
Proceed to the safe zone.
Let's not overcommit here. We can play this out.
Down him again.
Okay, that's good. I'm gonna cut
One
left.
in the house. Bottom right window. Attack a little bit.
Hey, Caliban, cancel that.
In the house.
Last
Pushing
one in
left.
house. Wait, what the heck? I'm down. Okay.
He's on the back. I got him.
Thank you for pulling that off. I somehow...
Check your gear and weapons. Planes are making ready for deployment. Playtime's over, mate. You're going to the war zone. Battle Royale. All right, soldier. Mark a drop point for your team. Gas is closing on your position. Suggest you get moving. Survive and you can redeploy. Listen up, soldier. Win here and you return to the front line. But if you lose, you're done. You're up, soldier. Now go. You gave him a proper sorting. Stand by for redeployment.
Does anyone need this?
Objective updated. Secure that position. Recon intel secured. Solid work. Gas is closing in.
Does anyone need this?
Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy personal radar in the air. Fought hard out there. Return to base for debrief.
Hi folks, this is a ring gear from a rear differential. What's interesting about this is it's mid-50s Rockwell C, so it's really hard. We had a customer reach out with a Tormach 1100 trying to machine pockets into this stuff. So we're going to walk through how we succeeded and some lessons that we learned on how to machine this with a regular carbide end mill on your Tormach. Welcome to another Wednesday Widget. So we've actually done some hard milling videos before, and there's a couple different schools of thoughts on either really low feed per tooth or really low radial engagement. Either way, it's a process that when you get dialed in is really cool because hardened steel actually cuts really well. And Jeffrey, who's now started full-time working on proven cut speeds and feeds and tooling research. Jeffrey went to town working on this using a regular 4-flute, happens to be a Lakeshore Carbide end mill. There are specialty tools that have different grinds and even different coatings that are really good for hard milling, and I wouldn't discourage anyone from using them, but what I wanted here was a regular run-of-the-mill carbide end mill, relatively inexpensive, and much more likely something that you're going to have around the shop. The first thing you'll notice is we took a piece of scrap aluminum and we turned it into a custom fixture, mounting it on our fixture plate. If you're going to do this, you want a rigid, accurate, repeatable work holding setup. Don't skimp here and pay the price down the road when you're breaking tools. Some creative use of a machinist square and dowel pins on the fixture plate makes it easy to locate this and align it up, and then using our Heimer to find 0. Starting off with the ramp into the pocket, we are going pretty slow, 800 RPMs at a ramp feed rate of 2.5 inches per minute. And now it can sometimes be confusing, which feed rate is Fusion actually using? We've got the cutting, the lead-ins, the ramps, the plunge. But if we go into the simulation and change over to the info tab, you get some really good information here that shows us right now we are
Cock.
Playtime's over, mate. You're going to the war zone. Battle Royale. Alright, soldier, mark a drop point for your team. Gas is closing on your position. Suggest you get moving. Let's get it done. Move to the next area and secure the perimeter. Enemy personal radar in the air. complete. Recon intel secured.
Let's go.
Cassilinho.
We're in the gulag now. Fight to earn redeployment. Time for a bit of argy-bargy. Get yourself sorted. You're up next. Listen up, soldier. Win here and you return to the front line. But if you lose, you're done. You're up, soldier. Now go sort this fucker out. You got roughed up in there. We're bringing you home. They hit us hard that time, but we'll set you
Feed rate, which is the 2.5 inches per minute. But it's also the settings on this last tab, the linking tab, that really matter. The ramping angle, the ramp taper angle, the clearance height, and the helical ramp diameter. The ramping angle, 2 degrees, is what drives the pitch of that red ramp helix there. So for comparison, moving to a 4-degree ramp angle is twice as steep. Benefit is it's much quicker. Downside is many cutting tools have limitations on the face grind of the tool on how steep a ramping angle they can tolerate, which is also dependent on the material that you're cutting and chip evacuation. Ramp taper angle is an awesome feature. We've got it set at 0 degrees here. Look what happens when you use a 6-degree ramp taper angle. By tapering our ramp pocket, you're really helping those chips evacuate, and you're also giving it more area for the coolant or air blast to get in there, especially when you're doing deeper pockets that are deeper than, say, 1 or 2 times your cutter's diameter. If you've ever broken a tool, it may well have been because the chips that were just caught weren't able to get blown out or removed from that pocket, and you end up recutting them. And when you recut them, you're massively increasing the load on the cutting edge of the tool, maybe also on the horsepower of the machines, and you may also be inducing chatter or vibration in that carbide, which doesn't like surprises like that. Ramp clearance height is the height plane at which it starts at the ramp. Be careful. I believe the default is often 0.1 inches, which is far too high in my opinion because ramping is often a slower operation and I don't want to spend all that time cutting air. So we set ours to the 10th thou value above the top height. And then helical ramp diameter. This is the diameter of those red circles. It's not a coincidence that it's that 0.2375. You right-click and choose Edit Expression, you'll see a conditional formula, but it's basically trying to get it to be 95% of the tool's diameter. We've got that 0.2375, which is that 90% diameter.
That's enough fucking about. Now we do this for real. drop point for your team. Gas is closing on your position. Suggest you get moving. Lads, let's get it done. Proceed to the marked location and secure the area. Recon intel secured. Solid work. Welcome to the Gulag. If you survive, you earn your freedom. Fight's begun. You can always have to go at these bastards while you're waiting. Give them some choice words or smash their mugs with a well-placed stone. Fight's ready. Get yourself sorted. You're up next. Win here and you return to the front line. You lose, your fight is over. Sort them out or capture the objective. You got roughed up in there. We're bringing you home. Learn from the loss. Failure's a proper teacher.
And we take our 1/4-inch end mill and we show what happens when that end mill walks around that diameter. What you can see is that's the biggest path the tool can take while still cutting the center of our part out. If you noticed, when we were doing the 6-degree ramp taper angle, we had a problem. We were leaving a small post at the center of our part. This post actually gets machined away as you ramp down. We've never had it be an issue. If you have, let us know in the comments below. I'd be curious to hear. The other thing that's really important to note about the helical ramp diameter is it's the most common cause for getting an adaptive toolpath that just doesn't calculate. I just programmed a 2D adaptive to machine this pocket, but this time I used a 3/8 diameter end mill. Measuring this pocket is 0.637, so almost 2 times the diameter of the end mill. So you would think that that adaptive should work, but we get this warning, empty toolpath, it just can't calculate it. And the first thing we always recommend is check your helical ramp diameter. Make it something really small, 0.05 inches, and see if that fixes your problem. Sure enough, it does. We can make it a little bit wider, but honestly not too much. because you can't have a 2D adaptive toolpath that's going to crash into the sidewall of your part as it's ramping in. As Jeffrey was working up this recipe, we had a lot of speeds and feeds that didn't work. We heard a lot of chatter, and it's a good time to reinforce chatter is never okay. And on years of learning and experimenting with machining, it's always better to take a step back and find a recipe that works, even if it's a little slower than you like or not ideal, and build up from that point. So now that we've transitioned into our actual adaptive cut, we're running at 40 surface feet per minute and 1.3 thousandths of an inch feet per tube, or about 3.2 inches per minute, with a 0.02 inch optimal load. Optimal load is basically the same thing as liquid cut, and in this case the 0.02 is an 8% radial engagement, so a very light cut. Nevertheless, you can still see we are forming a proper chip, and the cut sounds good. We've got that tool choked up as much as we can. On most materials, any cut that's up to 2 times diameter isn't a big deal.
Battle Royale.
Does anyone need this?
All right, soldier. Mark a drop point for your team. You've got gas closing in fast. Get to the safe zone. Engage all targets. Located a supply box. Secure that position. Enemy personal radar in the air. Contract updated. New objective identified. Enemy personal radar in the air. Enemy personal radar in the air. Contract updated. New objective identified. Contract complete. All supply boxes located. Proceed to the marked location and secure the area.
I'll drive.
secured. Solid work.
Does anyone need this? I'll drive.
Gas is moving. Enemy personal radar in the air. Enemy personal radar in the air. If you survive, you earn your freedom. You have to wait for your turn, mate. Listen up, soldier. Win here and you return to the front line. But if you lose, you're done. Time to earn your freedom, soldier.
Okay,